Two time for the cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Rockin' with the best, the cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. I like it, I want cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Watching my bro, the cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and members of the Cha-Cha Nation. Welcome to another episode of the Cha-Cha Album Review Series of the Cha-Cha Music Review Podcast. My name is Hafeestonova, aka your musical blog, creator of the Energy Force. Today we'll be talking about the album titled 19 and Dangerous from Mavin artist Ayra Starr. And yes, I said we because I'll not be doing this alone. I'll be doing this with a special guest. And without wasting much of your time, let me allow my guest to introduce herself.
Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the United States chapter of the Cha-Cha Gang. And this is your president over here. My name is Tommy. I am the host of Miss P Speaks podcast, and I am super excited to be on here to talk about this album.
Yes. It's been a long time coming, and finally she is on the podcast. Thank you for being here. Tommy, like I already said, we'll be discussing the album 19 and Dangerous. But before I go into that, let me just give people, a quick info about the album. So the 11-track album was released on the 6th of August, 2021, and it had production credit from London, Andre Vibes, Louder, and Don Jazzy. And the two featured artists on the album are Ckay and Fousheé. Now, Tommy, tell me this. When you first had the album, what was your impression?
It was pretty chill. I started listening to it when I was working. I think me and you, we had chatted up about the album because you taught me the difference between EP and album. I'm not ashamed to say it, that I learn from you all the time. So yeah, you showed me the difference between an EP and an album, and then we started talking about the album, and you said we should review it together. So I started listening to it when I was working. It played the first time. I got done doing my work. I wanted to take a bath. I listened to it while I was in the tub. I was just vibing, sipping wine, enjoying it, and it was just pure vibes. But it's also like, who hurt you, girl? Who is this boy that is like this, that is doing you anyhow? But it was pretty good. I really liked it.
All right, so like you rightly said, you were listening to the album, non-stop, from walking, sipping wine, checking your body and all that. I mean, you really enjoyed the album. So what songs will you say, caught your attention the more on the album?
Bloody Samaritan is like, that song is pure vibes. Yeah, vibes on vibes. Yeah, so I really like that one. Like everybody, but it sounds like every song on the radio, in my opinion. I like Fashion Killer. That one, I really like it. I like Snitch. And then Toxic has me thinking like, yo, what's wrong with you, girl? Who did this to you? Like, who is this boy? Because then when you think about Away, that's the first song I ever heard her on, Away. And I'm like, where are you meeting all these guys that you doing you anyhow? So it just had me feeling, and then Lonely is kind of like every girl's, oh my God, type of song. But yeah, those are the songs that really stood out to me that I really liked.
Like you rightly said, Bloody Samaritan, sounds like every song on the radio. I can understand why, because that was the first song that was released as a single off the album, and they needed something, to get everybody's attention, to promote them, to promote her into everybody's mind. And that song, like you said, vibe on vibes. I mean, there's no way you get that song and you not just feel okay. I love the production of that song. London really came on the production, and she just brought, she brought a lot of vibes into that song. Now, the song that you mentioned that I felt like, okay, for me, that was one of my best songs on the album, and that song is Snitch. I mean, I was listening to that song and I was like, wait, I don't get, is this another person? Because I think she had about 3 different styles on that particular song. At the point she was singing, so
and
at the point she went on, I'm like, who is this girl? Why is she? For me, I was not even really, captivated or touched by, the lyrics of the song, but it was just a vocal range that was really, really interesting to me. And to see that a young girl and a new artist could actually experiment, like that. And one thing I like most about this album is the fact that if you hear each song, she had like different vibe and different melody that she brought into the song. Unlike some artists whereby you're already know that, okay, is this style or is this vocal cord they will carry all through. It doesn't matter the beat, it doesn't matter. But she had, I mean, compare Fashion Killer to this song titled In Between. Now, I listened to those two songs, I'm like, I feel like these are two different artists. Like, how? Then don't get me started on the song titled Bridgertn. I mean, what she did on that song is just it's just exceptional.
Yeah.
One thing I have to say about this album is, first of all, shout out to every producers that worked on this album. I mean, the production was especially London. London really came through. And like you rightly mentioned, you were talking about, you know, the who broke her heart, because when I was listening to this song, Toxic, like you rightly said, Toxic and Lonely, I was like, okay. Lonely, I understood where she was coming from. Like, and one thing I like about Lonely is the fact that it's kind of really, really difficult, you know, these days when you see girl wanting to admit, oh, I mean, fuck off for this relationship.
Yeah.
So she kind of put her out there, making herself vulnerable, like, okay, you know what, I accept. It's my fault. I miss you. Please, just come back. Then she went to Toxic and started telling us something different entirely. And I'm like...
Exactly. I'm like, yo.
It wasn't just about singing. I don't think this was just about singing for her. I feel in a way that this song had some, you know, personal connection. Because if you listen to some of the lyrics of those songs, you could tell, like, okay, man, this girl has probably seen shit, or she's been around people that have seen a lot of shit. Because for someone as young as that to be singing those kind of heavy song, come on.
Yeah, okay, so for me, it was kind of like you're watching a series. And then you know how you have those series that every episode is a different story? That's pretty much how it is. Like, it has that you're getting into pure vibes. Yeah, entering into this is just going to take you into a zone. So like I like cast too, because it's pretty much like everywhere don't cast, and that is it. Don't carry anything on your head like that. And I just really like, I think that's actually my favorite song on the album, that Cast. I really like that one. Then after that, it will go on to be Snitch. I really like how each song tells a different story, but then it all is still connected. It's still connecting to that vulnerable, soft, like what you said about Lonely, that it just still reminds you that she's a young girl. And you go into Toxic and it's like, yes, there's so many young girls that are dating all these men that are making them make choices that they really shouldn't make, but then because they are so into it, they stay there. And then you go into Vibes on Vibes, and then you go into Fashion Killer where she's feeling herself. Like, every song is a story that still lets you know, like, okay, yes, this is me. You know, sometimes we forget the human side of celebrities. So she just made us get in touch with that human side of her. Like, I'm a person like you, and I go through the same struggles that you go through, and this is it. So I really liked it.
You know, one thing I like about the album that I feel like most people might not catch, but it's something you caught in a way, because like you rightly said, each song felt like it was telling a story, and that has to do with the arrangement of those tracks. Like you rightly said, the first track started with Cast, and Cast was just like, say, if I cast, make I cast. Like, I really don't care. It's my life, man. You know, whatever happens, happens. Social media will talk, people will put pressure on you, but at the end of the day, it's my life and I'm just a human being. And that is, you know, like they all rightly said, Cast, you know, in bracket, Gen Z, it's what we used with these days. Then the next one talks about, you know, Fashion Killer. First of all, you told us, if you cast, you cast. Then now you're now bragging about you being fashionable and all that. Then the next step, you went to being, you know, lonely and heartbroken. Then you went to Snitch. Then you switch to Toxic, and don't even get me started on what Ckay did on that song titled Beggie Beggie. I mean, I listened to that song. Hey, God. But for me, I feel like two of my favorite tracks on the album, In Between and Snitch. I don't know why that In Between, it sounds so spiritual to me. Listening to that song, I feel like, damn, this song really touched my soul. But there's one problem I'm having with that song, and I probably feel like I might have to reach out to Don Jazzy on Twitter, because on the artwork of the song, the title of the song is Underwater. But on most of the major music platforms that I've seen, at least on Spotify, Boomplay, and you know, the few I was able to check, none of the song is actually titled In Between. So I don't know where the mixed up, is coming from. But then again, that is just for that. So basically, if you were to rate this album, let's say over 10, what would you rate the album?
Out of 10, let me see. I give it a 7.5.
Why?
I give it a 7.5 because, like, I'm very hard to please. That's number one. So I'd have gone higher, but it's hard to please me. The production is great. The writing is great. I think for me, it's like for some of the songs, you can tell like she's still a young girl. So it's like, even though you're saying grown things, I can still tell you that you're very young. Like some of them, I'm like, did you even like, when I'm listening to, that's one of the reasons why I even like Snitch, because I'm like, I know you're not going to snatch any bitch that is talking to you, man. Like, I know you cannot do it. You're like me, we are just talking. That's my mindset with it. I'm like, nah, you're still a kid, you're not doing this. But then you never know, these Gen Z people, they might be doing it. Some of the songs, I felt like she sang some, like in between, like you said, it seemed like she connected to it. Toxic, it seemed like she connected to it. Fashion Killer, she connected to it. But for some of the songs, it seemed like she just sang them. That's why I'm giving it a 7.5.
Okay, so of all the 11 tracks on the album, which song would you say wasn't, up to your standard or wasn't just it for you on the album, if there is any?
I don't know, it's really hard to pick because I really like all of them. Let me see. If I were to pick, I would just say Amin would just be like the one I would put at the bottom. Not that it's not good, it's just it wasn't on the same vibe that every other team was on. So I'm just like, where did this one come from now? But that's it. But it was a good song. But I'm just like, I bet.
Well, you say you're going to put Amin on the bottom. Anyway, Amin is the bottom track on the album. So maybe that's
exactly.
But then again, that song is just like, it's just like trying to be, showing us should I say religious side or a prayerful side, because the song is, obviously at that point she had to let go of whatever meant that is in her head or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what, look, man, I'm humble, I'm praying, I'm thankful for everything that has happened to me in my life. I feel like that's a good way, to sign out on the album. For me, generally, I'm going to rate the album, I'll probably give an album a 9/10. And my reason is this. First of all, this is
generous.
Yeah, no. It's not a matter of being generous. See, the thing is, what she did on this album, like I rightly said, I like the fact that she is a new artist, number one, and she was able to experiment a lot with her sound and her vocals, because it's rare for you to see a new artist that will come out to this style. For example, Bloody Samaritan was good. We all enjoyed it. So in my mind, I felt if her album was going to drop, we should expect more of that kind of songs on the album.
Well, she had an EP before this.
Yeah, that's why, see, the thing is, with EP, you're always allowed to do most times whatever you can on your EP. You can decide to, be wherever you want to be. EP does not really have, that much, should I say, coordination compared to what it has on an album. Because an album is what majority of the people will use to compare you and say, oh, and you can just release an EP of 2 songs. People might not use that to, rate you. You might release an EP of 30 songs. People might not even listen to all that. But when you say you are releasing an album, people look at it, okay, this is your major body of work. And if you are being realistic, I can guarantee that 75% of people that listen to this album did not even listen to the EP. Maybe just a first song on the EP, Away, that people listen to.
That's the only song.
So, but on this album, you could tell people was listening to Bloody Samaritan, Fashion Killer, Cast, so there are a lot of songs that people actually connected with on the album, which is why the album is much more better. And like I rightly said, the way she was able to experiment, giving us different sound,
different styles,
was really, really dope. Unlike some artists whereby you already know them with this sound, and anything you hear. Now, I'm not trying to compare these 2 artists, and I'm not even trying to shame the other artists. But when you hear terms on a record, you can
I knew you were going to say that. I just knew it. Don't call for my baby girl. No, that would be
I'm not coming for her. I'm not coming for her. I'm just trying to make an example. You know, when you hear terms of the record, you could always tell, no more damages now. You know, you could always tell it's that same.
That's exactly how it sounds. I'm sorry.
She did something different on this album. I mean, the way she sounded, like I already said, look at the way she sounded on Bloody Samaritan, the way she sounded on Amin, the way she sounded on In Between, then compare that to the way she sounded on Beggie Beggie, you know, and Toxic.
Yeah.
So they were all different. And for this to be on your major album, it just made everything so fantastic. And of course, like I already said, the production was dope. The mixing and mastering was also dope. Even the lyrical content. I'm not sure I've seen a new artist that, you know, had this so much lyrical content in a while. Probably except from Fireboy, you know, and the Omalays, them. Those were in the underleague. But a female artist to actually come out and do this, that's why I'm giving the album a 9 over 10. And this is an album that I feel like the next 5-10 years, you'll pick it up, you listen to it, and you'll be like, wow, this girl.
Still a vibe. Yeah, and you know, it's really rare. You know, when people are trying to come out, a lot of girls, they talk about their body and all of that. But this one was more on a connect with me as an artist.
Yeah. The song Fashion Killer, I was reading this somewhere and she was talking about, you know, how she wrote that song. And she was talking about how Fashion Killer was just inspired by some of the things she sees on TV. She and her brother, and, you know, some of the clothes that they used to see that she loves fashion. And if you put that into perspective, okay, Fashion Killer is what she sees on TV and clothes that she wears, then you could naturally tell that this song is a song that came from a place of art. It was a girl that wanted to tell a story, not a girl that just wanted to put out a story. And that's why I said she did marvelously well on this album. This is an album that everybody would definitely enjoy. So Tommy is giving it a 7.5 because she's hard to believe.
Yes.
I'm giving it a 9 over 10 because I feel the album is solid. For a first project, she did very well on the album. Now, with that, technically, we have come to the end of the Cha-Cha album review series on the Cha-Cha Music Review Podcast. But Tommy, before I allow you go, let's just, you know, deviate 2 seconds or 3 seconds, you understand? Which Nigerian artist is busting your brain right about now?
Oof, that's a hard one.
Really?
Yeah, okay, I think I like Buju. Yes. Yeah, that's the only person that, you know, I'm really listening to right now. Yeah. And what's the name of this other guy? Oh my God, see, me and my music and how I don't remember a thing. You put me on the spot right here. Oh my God, he's the other guy that was in Sweet in the Middle and is in World. Yes, I like World.
Talking about World,
he has that Neil song that just came out that sounds like every Amapiano song.
There's this song he did with Wavy the Creator. There's a new song he did on Wavy the Creator. Go check out that song. That song is a very, very, very lovely song. It was featured on the song. I've forgotten the name of the song right now, but the song is Wavy the Creator featuring World. I think it's Harmonize. Yes, that's the name of the song. It's a very, very lovely song. Go check it out. All right, so tell me before you go.
My musical plug, always plugging me in with good music. Thank you.
That is the major aim of the Cha-Cha Music Review Podcast, you know, amplifying the African sound by connecting you to the best, you know, African music, man, you understand? All right, so before you go, just give us a quick info about your, you know, podcast and everything that is there to know about your podcasts.
Okay, like I said, my name is Tommy. I'm the host of Miss P Speaks podcast. You can find me everywhere you enjoy listening to podcasts. It's Miss P Speaks pod on all socials. It's a society and culture, personal journal style podcast. I just talk about life issues, things that excite me, things that annoy me. And if you're just looking for a place to just chill and feel like you're having a chat with a cool friend, just listen to me. So, yes, check me out.
Thank you very much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me on such short notice. Yes. I hope I was able to meet up with the energy because, oh my God.
The energy was there. You know, there's no way you would talk the energy first and you want to bring the energy in. So the energy
I know. I'm like, where's all this energy? Because 5 minutes before I was yawning, but now I'm just like, yes, let's go.
All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of another episode of the Cha-Cha Album Review Series on the Cha-Cha Music Review Podcast, which is now being brought to you by Absoluta Media, your number one online media and digital marketing agency. And of course, my name is still Hafeestonova, aka your musical plug, creator of the NSU Force. Till I come here with another episode, I say peace out.
One time, two time for the Cha-Cha gang. Give me the Cha-Cha gang. Rockin' with the best, the Cha-Cha gang. Give me the Cha-Cha gang. Ayra with Cha-Cha gang. Give me the Cha-Cha gang. What's in my body, Cha-Cha gang. Give me the Cha-Cha gang, Cha-Cha gang.
What's in my go?